be ready to change our mind and behavior. So, behavior and attitude and these thoughts are the part of the mind. So, if we change this mind, we change our behavior and attitude. But we are lucky that we are studying from the text which has sold 900 million copies in the world in 35 languages. And still Gita is not known as a best-selling book. Anyhow, but it has to be studied under a tradition, because each verse are revealed verses, and if we do not study under a text, under a tradition, then you simply translate the verses and you say, I have understood. So normally in every session, I translate half of the verse, sometimes the entire verse. And every verse contains 4 lines. So come back. The way we think, behave, and act in our daily life is what mind is. We were just talking, Charlie and me, and he was saying that, repeating again and again the same thing. Repetition, that is the nature of the mind, and expecting a different result. Whether you are good to me or bad to me, I will behave the same way because of my mind. So why I behave the way I do? Instinctive, impulsive, habitual mind. From where it has come? Go back, ask the question. We are evolved from mammals, animal mind. So this animal mind, for all practical purposes, animal mind claims that they are the body. So that is why we use the word survival, security, fear. You can train your dog the best possible way. They can even cook your meal, but their habit will not change. A little noise in the night, scared. That habit is not going to change. Now, one example. You train them, you claim that they are intelligent, but I can destroy their intelligence by a bite of food. Bite of food. So I was teaching this week to another 14-year-old girl in a personal session. So I said, do you see that you give every time you give a bite of food, they are not going to change. They will come to you. So within few days, I can make your pet my pet. But now apply the same to all of us. Hey, I gave you 5 candies. Will you do this for me? So one time is okay. Second time, what do you think I am? Who says this? Intellect. Intellect is free. That's what we have been understanding. Intellect, we have a free intellect to observe, to make a choice, and to hold on to this choice. Am I clear, John? So every human being has that free intellect, even if they are living unconsciously, habitually, and instinctively. So our master says, awaken that intellect. Only the intellect can change our mind. That intellect is sleeping behind the mind. And that mind is behaving like an animal mind. So we have refined that animal mind. We blame others, we complain others. You see that? And the animal mind attack. They don't worry about their survival. They attack because to survive. Sometimes they survive and sometimes they leave. This is what is happening to all of us. I had a scar, you insulted me when 15 years ago. What a great animal mind. We never think about it. So, Master says, this Krishna, the Master says, that there are two flows of the mind that we have covered. One flow of the mind comes from this animal mind, enters into our life from the back door. You see, you have crossed the limit, comes from the animal mind. What limit I have to cross? Come on. Because I created certain habit. So because of that habit and impulsive nature, you are crossing your limit. Come on. Dare you. When we are living in relationship. I completed the sentence. You have to think of it. So one flow causes the attachment, which is emotional dependence. I covered last week. Conditional. It hides the intellect behind the behavior and attitude. Now, I'm very good to you, you see, Charlie, John, Sophie. But the animal mind is still living within. I'm behaving very good and I misbehave the next moment. And second flow will change the life, but intellect has to come in the front. Because we observe, we make a choice. So, second flow of the mind is peace, happiness, love, and wisdom, for which intellect must come in front. That is why we are learning this. If you think like this, the way this master is asking us to think, we will definitely change. Now, go ask the question from where the mind, animal mind, receives these instinctive, habitual, and impulsive behavior and attitude. Go back to the last week's session. Attachment leads to sorrow. Sorrow leads to delusion, and delusion creates a cycle. And we don't realize I'm doing the same thing again and again and again and again and expecting a different result. Does that make a sense? Listen only 50% so that my profession continues. Whether I say it or not, unless you become a seeker, it is not possible. Now, see, the master says. Because if this knowledge does not settle in the mind by the intellect, how? When I start thinking, I have heard it. You have heard this peer guy, and after hearing, you sit down even for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you start thinking. What's life? How I have been living like this. Can I change? Then only you will change. First step is definitely listening. So once we have understood that disease, attachment, And then comes sorrow, suffering. And because of sorrow, suffering, I create a delusion in my mind. Wrong notion. Wrong notion. I had a couple, I will just speak a little. They are still with me. So they say, "Oh, you're talking about me." So, wife was preparing a tea. "Honey, can you take?" And, that is how they narrated the incident. Possibly they were present. And the husband said, "Oh, you see that I felt cheated the way my wife told me with a little louder voice, 'Honey, can you have a tea?'" Impulsive was somewhere else. It was seeking something else. I will not say more. You don't know about those. So why it happens? So this attachment, second disease is the sorrow, and third is the delusion outside. So mind has a choice, living from inside to outside or outside to inside. What it means by inside to outside or outside to inside. So when the mind moves from inside to outside, the intellect stands there. It has to move from the real self to the world outside. And you begin the journey with the peace and happiness, because real self is of the nature of peace and happiness. So that real self, which is of the nature of peace and happiness, it moves outside. Journey. So we move from the cause to the effect. Cause is peace and happiness within me, and effect. When you make the effect as a cause, you destroy your life. When you move from outside to inside. Oh, you cheated me because you got cheated. You gave me an opportunity to get cheated. That's why I cheated you. There is a knowledge hidden in it. I got cheated because I'm living my life instinctively, habitually, impulsively, with emotional dependence on others. That is why I got cheated. So nobody can cheat me if I live in awareness. I always say that I enjoy being exploited. Many, even my clients, exploit me. So at least for 2 3 sessions I go like this. On the fourth session I said enough is enough. I hate exploiting anyone because there is no reason to exploit. So you see, when you move from outside to inside, so when you move from outside, that is an effect. What is an effect? Attachment, emotional dependence. My mind says, I'm suffering because of you, and then I move inside. It hides the intellect. You stop thinking. You don't make a right assessment. We brand ourselves as a pleasure seeker. I covered that. Do you still remember? Pleasure seeker and the user. Hmm? Pleasure seeker and a user does not mean that we are exploiting people. We are a user of toothbrush. Are you exploiting toothbrush? Think of this. So here the word user is a positive thing. That user means you play a role in the world outside. When your honey comes, you play your role as a honey. Finished. When you are a father, play a role as a father. Your mother plays the role of the mother. Play the role like a Hollywood actor, and then drop it. Why? It will not, you will not invoke the mind, instinctive, impulsive nature. Then you need not to manage your anger, your blame and complaint, because there is none. You played your role. A Hollywood actor plays a role of a criminal. He does not go home and knocks the door. Come on, honey, I'm a criminal. You see that? So you use the mind rather than being used by the mind. That is one of the most important aspects. So how long? You continue until you live, because mind has to be there as long as I live. And that is how you bring about a change in our behavior and attitude. Result: happiness, satisfaction by self, for self, to self. Did I tell you to remain calm now? You did not. I did not say it, but you are calm. Does it not prove that calmness is your nature? But the mind, because of its impulsive nature, does not allow us to realize this. Intellect has to come in front. If they do not come in front, then that is what we are talking of. Steady intellect. The intellect should be steady, it should be steady, and the knowledge should be steady. Outer knowledge always changes. Outer knowledge. Oh, this guy is wonderful. After a week, no, 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 he cheated me, no, keep a distance. Our knowledge about people changes. So the knowledge should be made steady. It should only be made steady when I look inside, when I move my mind inside. Yes, let us pick up one more. Go to the cause and effect relationship. So we have covered that attachment, emotional dependence, conditional, it hides the intellect behind, and that leads to the sorrow because I have a different types of knowledge about people, places, objects, and things. Money will buy me happiness. Delusion. Money should be used as an instrument. You have more, give me. You have less, take from me. So now see, we have to understand this attachment means relationship. Very important point. This is one of the core principles of Eastern wisdom. The entire world, material universe, including the body, breath, mind, intellect, ego, are made from three qualities. So here we take the mind. Mind lives with three qualities. First quality is known as satoguna. Satoguna means knowledge and happiness. Second quality is known as rajoguna. When the mind is filled with the desire, seeking attachment and detachment, you are over busy. You are always busy. Why? To add little more stress and suffering. That is why we are very busy. That is caused by the rajoguna. Guna means quality. And the tamoguna, which opposes the knowledge, which simply opposes, which refutes, which rejects. We all have done in our life in relationship. When we are angry, when we are agitated, when we are reactive, we say, I don't trust you, I don't believe you. But after a few hours, I'm sorry. Relationship we are talking about. How that attachment comes. Now, second point, our master says that this mind is 90% natural, curious, seeks knowledge and happiness. Testimony since our birth. We are born, we were so spontaneous, we experienced the sense of freedom. We all have that childhood. So what happens? That proves that this mind has the first guna dominant of satoguna, knowledge and happiness. That is why we were spontaneous. So just for example, so mind contains the first guna, that is spontaneous, seeking knowledge and happiness, that is 90%. Second guna, that makes me active, that is 7%. And the third guna, tamas, darkness. Because the intellect awakens even in childhood, it says, why I have a fear? That doesn't happen to the animals. So tamoguna, it opposes the knowledge. It goes against. It is lazy, crazy, and obsessed. So did you understand the three qualities? 90%, 7%, 3%. We have reversed this. 90% is rajoguna, 7% is tamoguna. We oppose the right knowledge. That is why we live in delusion. That is why we say, I have been doing the same thing and expecting a different result. It is, everything is here. John, everything is logical. It is irrational. Science has yet to reach to that stage. So when these qualities are reversed because of my instinctive, impulsive, and habitual nature, my mind refutes the intellect that attachment is everything. That is why we say, oh, what do you say? Should I not be attached to my honey? Attachment is love. No, it is not love. So 90% is rajoguna, 7% is tamoguna. It is opposing the right knowledge. Come on, understand. It is emotional dependence. Why you are seeking emotional dependence? Because you are hollow inside. You feel insecure inside. Hollowness and insecurity. If I don't have money, so my mind says, money will buy me a security. I am single. When I will marry, the partner will give me the security. The mind still moves with the wrong notion. Did you get it? Yeah. Do you have any question? So what happens? The mind creates the knot with the people, places, objects, and the things outside because the entire quality is reversed. From there comes what we call the no, attachment is natural. Why shouldn't I be attached? So I tell those people when they make this statement, please continue, deepen your attachment. My profession. Because when you are attached, it results three diseases. Remember, attachment, second disease, sorrow, third is the delusion. So that delusion will create the cycle in your mind. It will deepen. You will never be able to get out of it. You take psychiatric pills, psychiatrist will give you the pills, okay, huh? We have a lot of symptoms of split personality. It is already a split. We are already living in a split personality when the mind reverses these three qualities. One more thing, and then we will do the practice. So now this process is reversed. So when this process is reversed, my life is a life of likes and dislikes, pain and pleasure. Small thing happens in my life, my mind makes this very big. Realize that. Realize that. So, can we say, are we in a denial mode? Now, this is the real denial mode. That I'm living in a delusion. Delusion is true. So, I'm living in a denial mode. Ask another question. But if the cause of my pain and pleasure is not there, then I do not experience them. After the delusion, I constantly experience likes and dislikes, love and hate, cold and heat at the physical level, pain and pleasure in the level of the mind. When you go to the doctor, they say, oh, no worries, I will disconnect your mind from the body, anesthesia. So there is no pain. If there is a real pain and pleasure, if there is a real hate and love, then anesthesia cannot do anything. So it is created by a wrong notion and the delusion. Think of it before you say, I don't believe you. So, what our master says, pain and pleasure, likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment exist in the mind due to the body and its connection with the mind. 90% is Rajoguna, 7% opposing knowledge. I'm constantly living in delusion. So these pain, pleasure, likes and dislikes, I should become aware of it. I should know it. I should remove it. But knowing that it is created by the mind body connection, caused by the mind. Now understand the entire process of evolution. We go to Alaska, we shiver, tremble, fear, extreme cold. What about the polar bear? They take a dip into the glacier river, catch the fish, and they are enjoying. Why? Because of physical evolution of adaptation and adjustment. That level of physical evolution has reached to its peak with the human frame. But we can do it by the mind, by evolving the mind. Disconnecting completely from the body and allow the body to work naturally, not in fear, not impulsively and instinctively. That is why many of our great masters lived in the Himalayas at the height of 20,000 feet. Nothing happened to them. And they lived there in order to check, is it possible by a mental evolution? And they proved it is possible. We need not to go to the Himalayas. We should take care of the small likes and dislikes, hate and love and blame and complaint in our daily. That is enough. Don't think to go to going to Colorado mountains. They are also 12,000, 13,000 feet high. Listen to it again and again and see what difference it makes. The moment you have likes and dislikes, moment you have a pain and pleasure, start working on it. Instead, it starts working on you. It happens due to the relationship outside. And the relationship outside caused by the attachment. It has to bring sorrow, grief, suffering, etc., etc. Last result is the delusion. See, and what a great understanding. Not given to you by me, but given by these teachings of the great master. So now we will start our practice. We will start our practice. We'll continue. Next. So let us start. Close your eyes.